president of the Philippines, but she is also the daughter. I'm not going to go into my conversations with the vice president, okay? And you must respect the vice president's right to visit her father. She's the vice president of the Philippines, but she is also the daughter.
Press conference.
Yes, but you have to prove that there were 30,000 victims. So how can you prove systematic killing of 30,000 victims if you do not have the names of 30,000 victims? So, really, truly, wala naman kaming magawa sa media, pero nakikita ko talaga sa lahat ng articles, war on drugs, killing thousands, and yet we have 181 pieces of evidence, and we don't even have. So where is the system there of thousands? No, sorry. Bobo yung abogado nila.
Kumusta po mga ka-viral and welcome back again to this YouTube channel. Latest update na naman tayo ngayon. Hindi nakalusot at timbog na ng ICC si VP Sara Duterte. Napag-alaman na isa si VP Sara sa 5 nasa lista ng ICC sa kanilang aarestuhin dahil sa kasong crime against humanity. Nalanta dito pagkatapos inaresto ng ICC si dating Pangulong Duterte at idiniretso sa detention facility ng ICC sa The Hague, Netherlands. Dahil sa biglang pag-aaresto sa dating Pangulong Duterte ay bumelta ang taga-suporta at kampo ng mga Duterte sa Administrasyong Marcos at sinabing planado at nakipag-ugnayan ang pamahalaan sa ICC upang isurrender si PRRD. Kung kaya naging mainit na bangayan sa buong bansa ang nasabing pagka-aresto. Sa ngayon ay buo na di umano ang legal team ng dating Pangulo para ipalalaban ang kaso ni FPRRD. Sa kaugnay na balita ay inisnab ng mga cabinet officials ang Senate hearing na pinangunahan ni Senator Amy Marcos at dinaluhan ni Senator Bato de la Rosa at Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. Hindi kasi sumipot ang mga inibetahang mga cabinet officials na sina Secretary Rimulya ng DOJ, Secretary Anyo, Secretary Teodoro, General Torre, PNP spokesperson Jane Fajardo at iba pang mga idinadawit sa pagplanong pagpapadakip kay FPRRD. Subalit ayon sa Malacanang, ay wala nang dapat pang sagutin ang mga cabinet officials dahil legal di umano ang kanilang ginawa. Ayon naman kay Senate President Chis Escudero, ay pag-iisipan nito kung aaprubahan ang subpena para sa mga nasabing cabinet officials dahil aniya under ng executive privilege ang hindi pagdalo ng mga ipinatawag sa Senate hearing.
Yun sa July 28 dahil bubuuin pa nila ang katakot-takot na requirements, di ba? Kasi meron silang 6 days ng session sa June 2 hanggang June 11. Ano magagawa mo doon? Considering po na sila po may gagawin pa na mga pahabol ng mga batas na aprobahan. Business po nila yon mga kapatid na naka-schedule doon. Anyway, so kung July 28, aabutin ka na ng Agosto. Ilang araw pa yan yung pagdinig niya, pag-schedule ng regular session vis-a-vis doon sa impeachment court na ang kanilang function. So, panahon din po ito ng budget hearing. So, sasabay ito. Okay, kung kailan naman budget hearing na, sasabay itong impeachment court. So, basically, mga anong buwan ito magkakaroon ng hatol. Okay. So, sasabihin ninyo, kasi nga naman, ba't ba nagsampa ng impeachment complaint? Kasi nga naman, walang basihan yan. You know, sabi nga mga kapatid, ito baby girl, sabi nga di ba, the die is cast.
Liwanag na meron talagang extensive and exhaustive plan, 80 pages, then the administration was already anticipating the application for a warrant of arrest and the issuance thereof. It's also apparent there was some kind of communication and coordination with the ICC. It's well known that some officials of the DOJ, as well as high-placed officials from other departments and from other branches of government already visited The Hague and perhaps even met the president of the ICC in Japan. So we are very deeply concerned about this contradiction in the claims. Kasi ang liwaliwanag na may communication and coordination na, tapos may sinasabi pang mga official channel through DOJ sa The Hague, backdoor channel. Bakit tinatago pa ng gobyerno? Tapos na to Tapos na ito, hindi na siya national security issue. How could the administration have known for weeks, if not months, in advance that the ICC will issue a warrant of arrest if, as claimed by the Secretary of Justice, the country was not communicating with the ICC? Parang hindi ka panipaniwala na gulat naman tayong lahat. So
Madam
sana yan klinaro nila. Yes, Senator Cayetano.
On your point that feel free to interject, just on the point of ongoing investigations, o may kaso ba, I was really deeply disturbed and shocked when Secretary Boying Remulla told us that lahat nung, this is my words so we'll refer to the record naman sa eksakto niyang sinabi at yung terminology. But sabi niya, Senator Bato, nung huling hearing na parang lahat, and you might want to refute that if you have information. But sabi kasi niya, lahat daw nung wrongful death ba yung ginamit niya, ay wala daw record, walang blatter, wala daw talaga. Tapos, halimbawa, may gunshot wound, tapos nakalagay cardiac arrest, di ba? I don't know if that is cardiac arrest because of, I don't know. But ang point ko lang, na-surprise at na-shock ako because when I was in the cabinet, before kami mag-explain abroad, hindi binubunot sa hangin yon. Nagmi-meeting yan, whether with the DILG or whether with the Chief PNP. I have had several meetings with Senator Bato when he was Chief PNP and I was still a senator. Kasi hindi naman ako magsasalita dito na hindi ko muna tinanong sa kanya. So, aside from yung mga ni-reveal mo na very telling details, I think we owe it to the public. Yung sinabi po ng, let me frame it this way, no? Kung pro Duterte ka, you want accountability. Yes, but we want accountability here in the Philippines at yung tamang process. Kasi two wrongs does not make a right. If you are anti-Duterte, you also want accountability. But you also want to do it right. Because two wrongs doesn't make it correct. Meaning, kung ma-dismiss yan sa ICC o kaya mag-change ng administration, balik na naman. So, whether you're pro or anti-Duterte, we want the rule of law, gusto natin tama. Last point lang, Madam Chair. Yung chilling effect, di ba? So kapag yung pinag-uusapan whether yung warrant arrest sa mga cyber libel or, tignan nyo po ilan taon na ba? 2016, 2025. 9 years ko nang kadebate si Senator De Lima, just like some others of us, former Senator De Lima, 9 years, di ba? 9 years na. Usually, yung usual, 30,000 yan, 16,000. So nagsasagutan kami sa issue. First time na nagdebate kami 2-3 weeks ago, ang una niyang sabi, dapat yan si Cayetano kasama sa ICC. Di ba? And then after that, naglabas sila ng redacted. And then mayroon ding iba, like former Senator Tria. Marami pang susunod dyan. So may chilling effect to. Sa akin okay lang kasi sanay akong takutin di ba? Sanay naman na ganun. But ang point ko lang, Madam Chair, that's why we have to get to the bottom of this. For example, in the case of Senator Bato, kailangan alam natin pagka may lumabas, can he have his counsel of his own choice? Can he be examined by a doctor? Pwede ba siyang mag-resist kasi wala naman Philippine order? Pwede ba siyang isakay bigla sa airplano? Mabigat yan, baka ma-overloading yung airplano. No? So, dinadaan ko lang po sa biro, pero hindi biro yung ito. Let me stop with one example, ma'am, Kasi maraming progressive groups. Siyempre, dahil nga sa history kay President Duterte, so I'll assume good faith sa progressive groups, Assuming na human rights activists sila, assuming na may mga napatay na extrajudicial killing, naisip ba nung progressive groups na yan na pag biglang may nakitang hukay, wherever in the Philippines, kahit sabi mo yung hukay na yan ay 20, 30, 40 years na, at may 50 nakalibing doon, o 43, katulad na rin lang nung kay President Duterte. Tapos ang sabihin ng kusino man, let's say retired military or retired intelligence officer, sir, mass grave nung komunista yan. Pinatay yan during 2012. Nung pinatay yan, 2012, may ICC pa. Payag ba tayo na yung mga progressive group, pati yung mga congressmen na progressive group, ay bigla na lang kukunin, isasakay sa airplano, dadalhin sa Hague, na hindi sila makakapunta sa Philippine courts? So, whatever kasi we decide here and whatever as a nation we decide, Madam Chair, is applicable to all of us. Di ba yung sinabi ni President Erap na weather lang yan? Kaya kailangan may batas. Para kahit anong weather, klaro yung karapatan mo. So let me stop there, but thank you for that intervention, Madam Chair.
Maraming salamat. At meron ibang katanungan yung ating mga kababayan. At ito naman yung tungkol sa executive order ng US. Noong March 28, ang sinabi ng gobyerno, ICC has no jurisdiction. Etong taon na ito, this is just the latest in a series of statements na ang ICC walang jurisdiction dito sa ating bansa. Gusto ko sanang tanungin ulit sa ating executive kung ang dating Pangulong Duterte ay nasa ilalim ng protected person under the executive order issued by the US President Trump, which imposed sanctions on the International Criminal Court. Kasi si Presidente Trump, hindi niya gusto yung ICC, di ba? Hindi nga nakilahok ang Amerika dyan. Under Section 8D2 of the EO, any foreign person who's a citizen or ally of the US that has not consented to ICC jurisdiction, o parang Pilipinas, over that person or state party is a protected person sa ilalim nung Presidente Trump. So ang Pilipinas, hindi na state party. At yung executive, sinasabi naman na hindi talaga ICC ang may jurisdiction sa atin. Kaya gusto ko sana tanungin, si Presidente Duterte ba ay isa sa protected person sa ilalim ng executive order ni Presidente Trump? Non-NATO ally na former or current official. So gusto ko malaman kung si PRRD nga ay protected person sa ilalim ng executive order, sino ang mako-cover sa asset freeze under Section 1 ng executive order ni Presidente Trump? Pwede bang parusahan ang mga sumapi sa pag-aresto katulad ni General Torre? Anong mangyayari kina Garma at kina Leonardo? Kasi ang pagkaalam natin, yung iba sa kanila at yung pamilya nila ay nasa Amerika na. Sakop ba sila nung executive order ni Presidente Trump? So, yan ang mga katanungan natin kasi lumalawak na lumalawak itong pagsisiyasat natin. Umabot na sa US kung saan alam natin, nagtatago sila. Kaya nag-aalala ako, ano ba nangyari rito? So, paano yun? Gusto ko sana liwanag ng ating justice, pero wala sila, kaya justice lang po tayo. Pero importante po to. Ngayon, yung administrative arrest, may DOJ local opinion, legal opinion raw, na lumabas noong November 21, 2024. Nakita po namin to Nasa website ngayon, nag-disappear na. Hindi na siya nandun. At ang liwanag doon sa legal opinion na mismo yung DOJ USEC na sumulat nito, ang balita ko si Yusek Chan, the DOJ does not consider an Interpol Red Notice an arrest warrant. Ang liwanag naman doon. At sinabi rin na the Philippines cannot deport your own citizen. Ang liwanag ng pagkasabi. The ICC, again, no jurisdiction. Then the ICC warrant could not have been the basis for the arrest. Kung yung red notice o diffusion is not a warrant of arrest, ang tanong ko, ano ang legal basis ng aresto? Ngayon, ang sabi ng gobyerno, yung turnover to the ICC was a surrender. Surrender na po to under Article 17 of RA 9851 and the Rome Statute. Walang pakialam sa Rome Statute kasi hindi na nga tayong member. I need to point out that before they can actually surrender PRRD, they have to arrest him to have him in custody. If there was no warrant issued by the court for PRRD's arrest, does that mean that it was an administrative arrest? Was the administrative arrest valid? Was the DOJ or whoever ordered the arrest empowered under 9851 to effect an administrative arrest? Nakakatuwa kasi kanina nabasa ko lang sa dyaryo, tamang-tama, na yung spokesman ng ICC, Dr. Fadi L. Abdallah, sinabi that the surrender of former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte of the ICC to the ICC was a decision entirely made by the Philippine government. And if there is any question about whether it was lawful or not, it will have to be submitted to the judges. So, mismo yung ICC sinabi na ang Pilipinas ang nag-surrender sa dating Pangulo. Siguro, si Attorney Medina na naman, magpapasaklolo tayo. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng administrative arrest? At tama ba na sinuko ng Pilipinas si PRRD sa ICC?
Magandang umaga po, Madam Chair. Thank you for the invitation. Good morning po, Senator Bato de la Rosa. Good morning po, Senator Bongo. Going back to the question, administrative arrests. Actually, the Supreme Court has recently clarified that administrative warrants for the arrest of non-Filipinos are actually valid. But these administrative arrests apply only to non-Filipinos in deportation proceedings, at least from the case decided by the Supreme Court, it involved a foreigner. Now, we must also take note that in that recent case, that's a landmark case, because in this decision, the Supreme Court introduced an innovation. Historically, administrative arrests, deportation process are purely administrative, no court intervention. But this time, the Chief Justice, who wrote the decision, and upon the suggestion of Supreme Court Justice Marvick Leonen, they introduced a new rule. Under this new rule, even if a person, a non-foreigner, is arrested on the basis of an administrative warrant, they must still inform the regional trial court and wait for the regional trial court to issue a judicial commitment order. Therefore, there is now a duty on the part of police officers or immigration officers, even when arresting a foreigner, to bring this person to the jurisdiction of the courts. So this represents a new trend. If a foreigner should be brought to a Philippine court before he is removed from the country, with more reason that a Filipino citizen should be subjected to some judicial proceedings.
Para pigilan o sabihan sila kaugnay sa dapat o hindi nila dapat gawin. Pero para marahil paliwanag, yung sitwasyon at direksyong tinatahak ko bilang tagapangulo ng Senado at mga rason kung bakit ko gagawin o di gagawin ang isang partikular na bagay. I think I owe that much to them.
Sir, another question po. Sir, tungkol po sa impeachment at
For
saka
you,
sa
there.
ICC.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, sir. Could emerging details from the ICC proceedings be used as factual basis in an impeachment complaint against BP Sara?
I don't think so. Because crimes against humanity is not one of the 7 charges filed against the Vice President. That has already been received by the Senate, and that cannot be changed anymore at this time. At least not until we approve the rules and or not until we send summons. Nagmamadali ang House, di ba? Nagpadala na raw yung summons, di ba? Yun ang gusto nila last week. So sa palagay ko, wala na silang balak na baguhin pa ito. At hindi kasama ang crimes against humanity sa impeachment complaint laban sa ating Vice President.
Sir, another question po.
Yes, ma'am.
If the ICC asks for the bank accounts of the Duterte in connection with the legal aid, is the government allowed to release it without violating the Philippine Bank Secrecy Law?
I cannot answer that question really because I'm not familiar with it. Sa ilalim ng batas, exemption sa bank secrecy law ang corruption case. Pero hindi ko alam kung saklaw ng definisyon ng corruption case ang isang ICC case. At saka sa international humanitarian sa IHL prohibition, parang hindi yata kasama sa allegation laban kay dating Pangulong Duterte ang corruption. So hindi ko alam kung anong maaaring posibleng rason para kunin at hilingin yon maliban sa aspeto ng civil liability. Pero darating lamang yon kapag sa'y napatunayang nagkasala na.
Sir, follow-up lang dun sa
Yes,
tanong
ma'am.
ni ma'am. If I'm not mistaken, kasama sa articles yung high crimes for conspiracy to commit murder in relation to VP Sara's alleged involvement in the DDS. So,
Which charge?
sa articles of impeachment, sir,
Which one yan?
I think 5 or something like that. Nasa baba po,
Alam
high
ko
crimes for...
in-allege nila yung other high crimes.
I believe kasama po na yung alleged involvement daw sa DDS.
Ah, really? Kasi so hindi ko pa nga nababasa eh. Nasa
So-
rules pa lang kami kasi.
So,
Actually,
sir,
nabasa ko na, hindi pa lang ganun kalalim pa. I don't know. Again, this case is totally different from that one. This is a case against the former president that's pending with ICC. So I don't see any reason how or why any evidence presented there would be relevant as against the vice president unless she herself would be one of the respondents in that case. Abay?
Walang kinalaman ng Pilipinas dito. Ilang beses tinatanggi ng ating mga opisyal, sana narito sila para ipaliwanag. Subalit nag-press release po ang liwaliwanag nung DOJ Assistant Secretary Mico Clavano, May 8 ang kanyang mga press release, at sa kalagitnaan ng kaguluhan tungkol sa PI, yung ating People's Initiative, sa kaguluhan ng Davao at Maisog rallies, ay biglang nagkaroon ng bagong briefer na ginagawa ng DOJ. Ito ay unang-una for the potential arrest of President Duterte, ikalawa ang pagbabalik ng Pilipinas sa ICC. Maliwanag na last year pa, May of 2024, nag-umpisa na ito. At sabi rito, aware naman tayo na yung policy ay hindi papasukin ng ICC. Pero posible naman mag-iba. So, yun ang nakakaabala dito. Mayo pa lang, pinaplano na yata ito. At kahit sinasabi ng ating kagalang-galang Secretary of Justice, sana narito siya, sabi niya, labas-masok ang dayuhan sa Pilipinas. Libo-libo sila, daan-libo pa ang pumapasok na waring di natin nalalaman. Ngunit, kilala ng ating Bureau of Immigration ang ilang ICC, mga tauhan na klaro na pumasok dito. Unang-una, maliwanag, si Maya Destura Bracken, dumating noong October 4, 2024. Siya ay galing US at interpreter siya noong ICC. Maliwanag po yan at maliwanag din na dumating siya sa Pilipinas. Ikalawa, andito din yung protection expert para ipagtanggol ang mga testigo. Ang pangalan, William Rosato, dumating sa Pilipinas October 15, 2024. Mahabang pagpaplano to. Nakita din natin na may dumating din na isa pang protection expert at iba pang mga dumating na si Amir John Kasam. Dumating October 20. At yung investigador, dumating din sa October 24. Siya yung huli. Ang huling ICC na nasa record ko, October 24, Glenn Roderick Thomas Cala. Siya naman yung investigador at hindi ko alam kung kompleto na ito dahil meron pang binabanggit na Robin Croft na abogado naman nila at may binabanggit din sa kanilang mga usapin na bagong team ng 3 parating daw ng 19 October. Hindi ko na nakuha yung pangalan pero maliwanag na merong mga dumating na ICC at nagpakilala bilang tauhan talaga ng ICC na may kanya-kanyang espesyalidad. May protection expert, may investigador, may interpreter, may abogado. Klaro po yun. doon at itinira, hindi natin sa sigurado ang binabanggit at sinulat nila sa kanilang immigration papers, Midas Hotel, Raffles Hotel, Diamond Hotel. Humingi rin sila ng protection detail and transport sa Pilipinas. So maliwanag na ang Pilipinas ay tumulong at talagang nagpakita ng partisipasyon. Matagal na ito, Mayo pa, tapos October pa, kaya nagtataka po tayo kung bakit tinatanggi ng ating mga opisyal na may ganito. I also received information na yung ICC personnel pala may agenda, may mga impormasyon galing sa administrasyon na hinihingi. Ang mga hinihingi nila sa agenda nila, unang-una bank account records June 2016 to 2019 ng isang Peter Parungo. Meron din silang mga hinihingi ng mga blotter, mga seized evidence, radio transmissions sa Police Station 6 sa Batasan Hills, QC. Alalahanin natin na meron tayong bank privacy. Kaya nakakapagtaka bakit yung bank account records na kami mismo dito sa Senado hindi makuha-kuha, naibigay sa ICC. Pati na rin yung mga tactical operations ng pulis, pati na rin yung records ng East Avenue Medical Center sa lahat ng dead on arrival between July 2016 to 31, 2017, lahat ng detalye ng postmortem autopsy at mga inspeksyon. Sana ipapatanong ko to sa ating kapulisan. Sabi nga ni Senator Cayetano, hindi naman yan sakop ng executive privilege pagkat hindi naman cabinet rank. Pero wala sila rito. Bakit nila ipagkakaila ito samantalang fully recorded naman ito? Ang liwaliwanag naman ito. Wag na tayo magbulahan. Tapos, itong agenda na sinasabing hiningi, siya rin ang lumitaw sa application for warrant ng ICC prosecutor. Sa madaling sabi, ang kaso sa ICC base sa ebidensyang binigay ng pamahalaan ng Pilipinas. I am asking these questions, I cannot help but wonder, while the administration has been claiming it did not help the ICC, why the prosecutor in his application for the warrant of arrest for PRRD cited the following documents as part of the evidence. Ito na nga, yung paulit-ulit nilang pinagmamalaki, dokumento ng PNP at ibang department, ang drug watch list maintained by the law enforcement, financial and bank records, forensic evidence na nanggaling sa PNP. Mahirap kunin itong mga katibayan na ito. Kahit mataas na opisyal, katulad ng senador, naghahagilap kami ng ganito, wala kami makuha. Paano nakuha ng ICC prosecutor kung sa mga salita at deklarasyon ng ating administrasyon ang sinabi, it will not